A long time ago, there was once a man that lived that they said that his soul was darker than the dark when he would walk outside and it would be the dark of night. They said that you could see his darkness and walking past, and he was literally darker than the darkness. The man lived in a cabin in the isolated woods a long time ago. No one really knew what he did, who he was, and they were afraid to ask his name. They said he was a monster, but the townspeople seen him eat, get his groceries, and he would just leave. And he ended up dying in his cabin, and everybody was always afraid to move his body. And as time went on, nobody would buy the cabin. Animals wouldn't even go near the house. So they just literally, no one, they just left it as it was. And then one day, it was many years later, there was a man. He was probably homeless or nomad. They weren't even sure. But he went and he just started living in the cabin because he had nowhere to go, and he just started living there. And they was said that he ended up dying in the cabin. And there was actually some villagers that came by just to see if the man was still there. And the man just disappeared, but they knew he died. So the town just didn't know what to do. They didn't think anything of it, but they never stepped foot in the house again. Then there was reports of a man wandering in the forest that looked pale. And he never really killed anybody or anything. Just walked through the forest, looking with dead eyes. And he would stare at you with his dead eyes. And as he stared at you with his dead eyes, you felt a chill. And it was told that this man with the dead eyes got the evil from the first man that was darker than the night. So the forest was abandoned. That very few animals lived in that forest. They wouldn't go near that area. And they ended up calling this area of the forest the Deadwoods. And it was known as the part of the forest where the dead walked. As time went on in the Deadwoods, it was just known as the creepy forest. Kids would go there to drink, and they would just tell crazy stories, and they just got a creepy vibe in this part of the woods. So as time went on, there was an accident in the cabin, and a little boy ended up, he actually wasn't little, he was about 16. He ended up dying. So the cops came, got him, and there was just a really weird vibe in the cabin. And they brought him to the morgue, did their thing. But the thing is the boy ended up disappearing. And nobody knew why. So people started investigating. Time went on until, I want to say, a month later, they seen the same boy He looked very pale and he had pale blue eyes. And they said he had a shine to him. He was neither dead nor alive. And this boy, he didn't hurt nobody. They said he was the messenger of the devil because they'd have nightmares after they seen him. They just got real scared, and everybody was just, they would post complaints. But how can you complain about a person that's not alive? You can't arrest them. So they did a search. They searched the forest, they searched everywhere, and they never seen him. But he would just appear everywhere. And it got so intense that the townspeople ended up getting a paranormal investigator on the scene. And in the paranormal investigator, she ended up coming missing. It was a mystery that literally nobody could solve. But they eventually were going to try to find some way of solving something, and they couldn't figure out how they were going to do it, but they just kept on and kept on investigating.